My family has been in the business of retrieving corpses from the water for generations, a profession that has always been looked down upon. After graduating from college, I refused to inherit this trade, determined to head south to find work. However, I hit a wall everywhere I went. By a strange twist of fate, I became an urban corpse collector, a designated driver. At 2 in the morning, the streets were scattered with drunk people lying around. I had a keen eye, and the corpses I picked up were always either rich or noble. Looking at the $500,000 in my bank account, I planned to take one last job and then return home in glory. Who knew that this last job would leave me completely broke? As I was despairing and planning to go home to take over the family business, a convertible Bentley blocked my path. "If you don't take me with you, I'll float down the river to meet your parents." A few yellow-haired punks were surrounding an unconscious girl on the side of the road. I sped over on my electric scooter. "Miss, I'm your DD designated driver, employee number 007. The yellow-haired punk stood up angrily and poked my chest with his finger. "If you know what's good for you, get lost." I raised an eyebrow and pushed his finger away. "Sorry, I don't." The group of yellow-haired punks grew excited, jumping around and getting ready to throw a punch. "Are you sure you want to do this?" I took off my designated driver vest, revealing my muscular build and the 4 large words on my t-shirt, DD designated hitter. Having trained with the corpse retrieval team every morning and evening since I was a child, dealing with a few punks was nothing. I took them all down in 3 seconds. I leaned down and gently patted the drunk girl, but she didn't react at all. I had no choice but to search her pockets, but to my surprise, I couldn't find any car keys. That can't be right. This girl doesn't even have a car, yet she's here on this high-end street where a single dish costs more than an average person's monthly salary. Drunk all by herself? Just then, the yellow-haired punks on the ground got up, grimacing in pain. Although they didn't dare to provoke me again, they didn't leave either, watching us like vultures. Having come this far in my heroic rescue, I had no choice but to proudly pick up the girl and hail a cab. In the rearview mirror, I vaguely saw one of the punks holding up his phone with a sinister smile. Sure enough, the next day, short videos of a designated driver picking up a young girl went viral online. I shook my head and looked at the unconscious girl in the hospital bed. This time, I was like a man with yellow mud in his pants. No way to explain myself. The nurses did their rounds, their eyes darting away. Just as I was about to explain, they fled in a panic. I don't know which busybody called the police. Seeing the officer, I excitedly shook his hand. "Now that you're here, I can rest easy. I'll leave the girl with you, I'm off." The officer stopped me. "Not so fast. You're coming with us first." The moment I was put into the police car, the onlooking nurses excitedly gave the officer a thumbs up. I stuck my head out of the car window and argued aggrievedly. "I'm a good guy." Under the bright interrogation lamp at the police station, the officer said kindly, "Cooperate with us. Tell us everything you should and shouldn't say. It'll be good for you, good for me, good for everyone." Tears welled up in my eyes. I started from when I saw the yellow-haired kid, a passionate outpour. The officers asked, as if only half understanding, "So you're saying it was actually the yellow-haired kid and his friends who had bad intentions?" "Yes, yes, yes." "You saved that girl?" "Yes, yes, yes." "You found her pale and couldn't wake her up, so you took her to the hospital?" "Yes, yes, yes." "You even paid her medical bills?" "Yes, yes, yes." The officer suddenly slammed the table. "Go on, keep making it up. You should read less web novels." I was startled by his sudden change and said with a sob, "I was wearing a sports camera while I was working. If you don't believe me, you can turn it on and see." The officer found the camera on me and turned it on, but the screen was black. "Maybe something is blocking it. Wait a little longer." Everyone waited for a few more minutes, and suddenly a strange image appeared on the screen. I stared in confusion at the pale, soft, deep groove on the screen. Suddenly a female officer pointed at me and shouted, "You pervert! This is the girl's private parts." Wait. Let me explain. Maybe it's because I was carrying her yesterday, and the sport camera was on my chest, so..." Before I could finish, the officer forcefully pushed me down into the chair and handcuffed me behind my back. Fortunately, at the critical moment, another police officer pushed the door open and said in a low voice, "We've got the surveillance footage." He wasn't lying. I let out a long sigh of relief. and the atmosphere in the interrogation room instantly warmed. "Young man, thank you for your cooperation. It's commendable of you to act heroically for a just cause." The officer gestured for me to sign the statement, comforting me in a gentle tone. "Don't be afraid of the online rumors. We'll issue a notice to clear your name." I stretched my stiff wrists. "It's all right as long as it's cleared up. Can I go now?" "Wait." The older officer stopped me. "My colleagues at the hospital said the young woman has no ID on her, and her phone is missing. She's still unconscious. Look, since you've been a good Samaritan, could you look after her for 2 more days? We'll notify you as soon as we've identified her." Before I could answer, the younger officer smiled and escorted me out of the police station. "Take care, young man. Wait for our news." I stood on the street in a daze when suddenly an unfamiliar number flashed on my phone. "Hello, hello, young man, the girl is awake. She's crying and asking for you. Come to the hospital quickly." Awake? Thank heavens. I hailed a taxi and rushed to the hospital. As I walked into the ward, the girl was crying a river of tears. She looked up when she saw me and asked, "Did you bring me to the hospital last night?" I nodded. The girl looked me up and down. The moment our eyes met, my face flushed, fantasizing about how she would thank me. Suddenly, the girl strode forward and with a slap, she exclaimed, "Bastard, what did you do to me last night?" She pointed to the back of her head. "Look, I got such a big bump on my head from a fall, and now I can't remember anything. You tell me, what should we do?" "Wait, I didn't make her fall." Just as I was about to explain, her eyes turned crimson, and she suddenly grabbed my hair with both hands. "You bastard, you tell me, what did you do to me last night? Where are my phone, wallet, and ID?" I winced in pain, repeatedly pleading for help from the onlookers, only to be met with cold stares and accusations. "It wasn't me. I saved you." I tried to alligator roll out of her grip several times, but every attempt failed. "I have no idea what this woman ate growing up to have such strength. You damn pervert. The internet is full of videos of you forcing me into your car, and you're still trying to deny it," the girl cried out. A crowd was watching, and I was utterly unable to defend myself. Just then, the policewoman on duty at the hospital finally appeared. Miss, please let go of him. The station just called. They've cleared things up." "Great. They've cleared things up," she said, sounding almost excited by the policewoman's words, and followed through with a flying kick. "Fuck." An excruciating pain shot through my groin, and I collapsed to my knees, clutching myself with both hands. "Miss, please calm down and let me finish," the policewoman said, blocking me from her. "He really did save you." The frantic girl finally released my hair. I lay on the ground in agony. "Why did you kick me in the crotch?" "I was just trying to save you." A wave of indignation washed over me, and this time, it was my turn to sob my heart out. "I can vouch for this young man," the officer declared, filled with righteous indignation. "Last night, he saw that this young lady was in danger, bravely fought off her attackers, and brought her to the hospital." The crowd of onlookers, who had just been hurling insults, instantly changed their tune and burst into thunderous applause. I lifted my head and glared at the woman who had just kicked me. "Aren't you going to say something?" She actually clapped her hands, dusted off the hair she had just pulled from my head, lifted her chin, and muttered, "Well, I didn't know at the time." I started to get up in a rage, which only aggravated my injury, sending another wave of excruciating pain through me. Just my luck. I walked awkwardly out of the hospital room, but the doctor stopped me. "Young man, your girlfriend has a hematoma on the back of her head, which is causing some memory confusion. You'll need to observe her for a few days at home and come back for a follow-up in a week." He then handed me a slip of paper. "She can be discharged today. Just go settle the bill on the first floor. Find the police if you have a problem." I angrily stuffed the bill into the female officer's hand, but she pushed it right back. "Young man, be a good person and see it through. We'll find her family as soon as possible." Hearing our conversation, the girl silently lowered her head, all her previous domineering aura gone, nervously clutching the hem of her dress. Just my luck." I took out my phone and aimed it at the QR code on the bill. "Here's the receipt. If you have any conscience, you'll pay me back when you find your family." I walked out, steadying myself against the wall, only to find a small tail behind me. "Miss, what do you want now?" I turned around in frustration. The sunlight sprinkled on her fair face, and her stubborn eyes were filled with helplessness. I wanted to say thank you, she said, her clear eyes looking exceptionally beautiful in the sun. The perfectly romantic atmosphere was shattered by a sudden growl from his stomach. I've said what I needed to. I'll pay you back when I find my family. The girl clutched her stomach and turned in embarrassment, but I grabbed her arm. Make it up to me with a meal. And no, that's not necessary. The girl kept her head down, her back stiff. What do you mean, not necessary? You hit me that hard. Having a meal with me isn't too much to ask, is it? I lowered my brow, raised my eyes, and feigned anger as I pulled her into a Pizza Hut. Wow, there's actually pineapple on this pizza, the girl said, looking through the menu in complete surprise. EW, what the heck is durian pizza? Watching her constant surprise, I felt the chances of getting my money back for her medical bills were slim. She definitely wasn't a rich girl. I shook my head and asked in a gentle tone, what do you want to eat? You order. I don't think I've ever eaten anything on this menu, she said, casting a timid glance my way. A smile crept onto my lips as I proudly ordered a deluxe meal for two. Wow, sweet and savory, this soft pizza is so good. She took large bites, savoring the delicious food. It really seemed like her first time eating it, her amazed expression just like mine when I first came to the city. During the meal, I asked her, you really can't remember anything? She put down the pizza in her hand, finished chewing the food in her mouth, and answered politely, yes, I only remember. I think my name is Meow Meow. Home address. She shook her head. The names of your parents and siblings? She shook her head. Then can you remember who you were drinking with last night? She still shook her head. Alas, it seemed I could only wait for the police to notify me. While I was at my wit's end, she asked me in return, why did you save me last night? This question was too sharp. I couldn't just say that I wanted to earn a reward from a rich person, could I? Under her expectant gaze, I squeezed out a brainless answer. Because you're good-looking, I was afraid you'd be bullied by that yellow-haired guy. Heh. Hearing my answer, her big eyes curved into crescents, and a few small dimples appeared by her mouth. What's your name? My name is Yulong. Thank you, Big Brother Long. Her sweet voice seemed to penetrate my mind, and the previous unpleasantness was instantly smoothed over. Where are you staying tonight? I unconsciously started to worry about her. Big Brother Long, if it's convenient, could you? She lowered her head and asked timidly, could you let me stay at your place for now? That won't work. I refused immediately, as if by reflex. Oh, it's okay. I was being unreasonable. I shouldn't trouble you anymore. Meow Meow was like a startled little bird, blushing as she tried to smooth things over. No, don't misunderstand. Seeing her like this, I also became anxious. I'm renting with other people, a few big guys who don't even close the door to the bathroom. You can't stay there. The police should be able to find out your identity soon. How about I find a hotel for you to stay in for now? After hearing my words, a smile returned to Meow Meow's face. Big Brother Long, you're really a good person. When I find my family, I'll definitely have them thank you properly. I led her into the small hotel next to the rental house. The auntie at the front desk squinted at us and said, you can't get a room by the hour at this time. Come back after 8 p.m. My face flushed red in an instant, and I said, filled with righteous indignation, we're not getting a room by the hour. The front desk auntie put down her phone, clicked around on the computer, and said indifferently, there's one double bedroom left. 80. Want it or not? I turned to ask Meow Meow, but she just blinked her big, innocent eyes, completely clueless. Let's go up and have a look, I said, pretending to be experienced. Pushing the door open, we saw the bed was covered with yellowish sheets. The bathroom reeked of sewage, and, most unbearably, when I pulled back the curtains, I found a solid wall. How can there not even be a window? You want a window? The auntie looked incredulous. You youngsters won't even be getting out of bed. What time will you have to look at the scenery? Just then, a slapping sound suddenly came from the next room. Meow Meow moved closer to me nervously, and then a sharp female voice began to pant and beg. The auntie knocked on the wall with a wicked grin. Hey, take it easy in there. If you break the bed, you're not getting your deposit back. Meow Meow grew even more nervous, grabbing my arm fearfully and pleading with her eyes for help. Forget it, we're not staying. I led her out of the small hotel. Holding her trembling hand, I gritted my teeth, stomped my foot, and got her a deluxe room at a chain hotel. Sir, here is your room card. We offer bedtime milk and goodnight congee. We wish you a pleasant evening. I took the room card, feeling pleased with myself, thinking that the service at a high-end hotel really is different. Lock the door tonight, and call me if you need anything. I left my phone number on the notepad by the bed. Meow Meow pressed a can of milk into my hand. Brother Long, thank you. The next day, I got up bright and early. Carrying steamed buns and fried dough sticks, I knocked on Meow Meow's door. She was in a bathrobe, her eyes heavy with sleep. Morning, Brother Long. Sorry, did I wake you? I asked, a bit embarrassed by her sleepy appearance. It's fine, she said with another big yawn. For some reason, I just couldn't fall asleep last night. I was wide awake until dawn. Have a seat. I'm going to take a shower. Meow Meow walked into the bathroom. The steam made the frosted glass transparent, revealing the faint outline of a graceful figure. I froze for a few seconds. Bastard, don't look at what you're not supposed to see, got it? Though I was cursing myself, my eyes couldn't help but sneak a glance. Just then, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find a staff member with a fresh set of clothes. From a bathroom, Meow Meow's voice called out, Brother Long, are my clothes ready? Yes, they are. Great, I just finished. Could you hand them to me? Oh, okay, sure. I took the clothes out of the bag. A small, pink item almost slipped, but I caught it just in time. It turned out to be a damn. Brother Long, coming. Blushing, I turned my body 90 degrees and passed the clothes into the bathroom. The moment our fingertips touched, blood rushed to my head, and I felt an unbearable thirst. After handing her the clothes, I tilted my head back and chugged a bottle of water. Brother Long, are you that thirsty? I turned at the sound of her voice. She was leaning over slightly, drying her wet hair from the side. My gaze followed a droplet of water as it trickled from the ends of her hair, down her fair neck, and into the deep valley of her cleavage. I suddenly spat out a mouthful of water. Drink slower. As she approached me, my eyes uncontrollably followed the falling water droplets. I'm fine, don't come any closer, I said, backing away in a panic. After all, I had only my imagination for 24 years. This was the first time seeing the real thing, and I was terrified I'd lose control. The restaurants here are so fancy, Meow Meow said, looking around with curiosity. To help her regain her memory, I brought her to the street where I found her. Remember anything? She shook her head. Don't worry, we'll ask at every shop. First, we checked the 2 nearest private Chinese kitchens. The managers said the police had already reviewed their surveillance footage, and Meow Meow hadn't been to their restaurant that night. It's probably not here, Meow Meow said, a little dejected as she walked out of the restaurant. I didn't recognize any of the dishes on the tables. After that, we went to a kaiseki restaurant, a French restaurant, a Thai restaurant, and even an Indian restaurant, but Meow Meow shook her head, saying they were all unfamiliar. Just as I was at a loss, she pointed to a Pizza Fun restaurant and said, That one. I'm familiar with that one. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But who would get blackout drunk at a Pizza Fun restaurant? Just then, Meow Meow was suddenly drawn to a red Ferrari and inexplicably ran after it. Where are you going? Following the Ferrari, we arrived at an old villa on a back street. Sir, do you have a reservation? A waiter in a black vest and bow tie stopped us at the door. Just as I was about to answer, Meow Meow stared blankly and uttered a foreign word. Mateo. Mario. I wondered to myself, but the waiter's demeanor suddenly became respectful. Sir, miss, please come in. Walking into the old villa, its style was different from the magnificent and flashy restaurants on the street. Every detail here was exquisitely refined. The decor was as classic and vintage as the old villa itself. Do you remember this place? I asked Meow Meow in a low voice, but she was standing frozen in front of a huge wine cabinet. The next second, she opened the cabinet, her expression turning solemn. Do you recognize this wine? Seeing the look on Meow Meow's face, I felt a secret delight inside. I had finally found something she remembered. But, smash! Meow Meow threw the bottle of red wine in her hand to the ground. Along with the shattered bottle, my heart broke too, because the label on that bottle read 16,800 yuan per bottle. Several waiters gathered around, but Meow Meow didn't stop what she was doing. Smash! 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 I tried my best to grab her hands, but I couldn't stop the bottles from continuing to fall. Her eyes were filled with rage, and she struggled fiercely, so I had no choice but to pull her tightly into my arms. All right, meow meow, take a deep breath. Calm down. I could feel her whole body trembling uncontrollably. We were taken to a private room, and a waiter handed me the bill with a smile. Sir, this is the list of items your friend has damaged. Good Lord, 450,000 yuan. I seriously wondered if he had checked my bank balance. I looked troubled and said, my friend had an accident nearby. Could you help me check the surveillance footage from the night before last to see if she came to your restaurant? The waiter paused, his tone stiff as he replied, Sir, we can't release surveillance footage arbitrarily. If you want to access it, you'll need authorization from the Public Security Bureau. Then, glancing back at the bill, he added, your friend doesn't seem to have done it on purpose. I'll give you a membership discount, 10% off. With no other choice, I scanned the code and paid. Watching my account balance drop from 500,000 to 50,000, I was filled with frustration. But seeing the emptiness in her eyes, I couldn't bring myself to say a word. In silence, I took her back to the hotel. Get some rest. I'm going to the police station to request access to the surveillance footage from that Italian restaurant. After explaining the situation at the police station, the officer immediately agreed to accompany me to review the surveillance footage. Meow meow, the officer can accompany us to check the surveillance now. After knocking on the door for a long time with no answer, and recalling her previous unusual behavior, I broke out in a cold sweat. I hastily found hotel staff to help open the door. When the door was opened, the room was empty. Meow Meow had vanished as if she had evaporated into thin air. Later, after investigating, the officer told me that not long after I left the hotel that day, Meow Meow had walked out by herself, hailed a taxi, and left. As for that Italian restaurant, since it had only recently opened, its surveillance equipment was incomplete and it was located on a back street. No useful information was found. I lay numbly in my rented room. The experiences of the past few days felt like a dream. Closing my eyes, Meow Meow's smile bloomed before me. I felt it was a beautiful dream, a sweet dream like something out of a romance novel. I opened my eyes and saw that a zero was missing from my savings balance. Then I felt it was an inescapable nightmare, a heavy stone constantly pressing on my chest, suffocating me. Just then my phone rang. I answered it with eager anticipation, but what came from the other end was my mother's voice. Xiaolong, listen to me, come back. The body retrieval team is a formal establishment now. How hard is it for an ordinary person to get a spot in a formal establishment? My mother was earnestly trying to persuade me on the other end of the phone, while I was sobbing uncontrollably on this end. Son, what's wrong? Tell Mom. We'll solve any problem, no matter how big, together. Nothing, Mom. I just miss you, I replied, choking back tears. I'll pack up and come back in a few days. Oh, Mom misses you too. I'll be waiting for you to come back. When I was 10, I was fishing with my father on the river. Suddenly, I saw a man's body floating in the distance. Mimicking the way my father usually retrieved bodies, I tied a nylon rope around my waist and, with the fearlessness of youth, jumped straight into the river. Seeing this, my father didn't hesitate to jump in after me. Dad, he's still breathing, I shouted. My father, not far away, suddenly stopped. Son, come here, he beckoned to me, but I stubbornly refused to swim over. Dad, he's still breathing. We can save him, I yelled while treading water. Son, have you forgotten the ancestral rule? A corpse salvager retrieves the dead, not the living. My father sounded exasperated, but I was a flower raised under the red flag. At precisely the age for heroics, how could I remember some ancestral rule? If you won't save him, I will. I was a little angry and defiantly started pulling the man towards the boat, getting pulled under by the waves several times. In the end, my father couldn't win against me and swam over. All right, I'll save him. You get on the boat first. Just then, the wind and waves suddenly picked up on the river. In the end, I got on the boat, and the unconscious man was brought aboard, but my father disappeared into the river forever. Although no one in my family blamed me, I didn't know how to forgive myself. After that incident, perhaps out of fear, perhaps out of guilt, I threw myself into my studies, hoping to get far away from my hometown, far away from being a corpse salvager. Pulling my thoughts back to the present, I stood before the window, took out the last cigarette from the pack, and lit it. Then, I crushed the empty pack into a ball and tossed it nonchalantly into the trash can. Accept your fate. As if it wasn't just a cigarette pack that had landed in the trash, but also the last of my stubbornness. Dad, I've decided to go back and inherit your mantle. I wonder if we'll meet in the river someday. After packing my luggage, I thought I couldn't go back empty-handed after being away from home for so long, so I went out to buy some local specialties. When I returned to my rental house with large and small bags, several men in suits and leather shoes were standing at the door. Mr. Long, no, my surname is Yu. I vigilantly and quickly opened the door to enter the house, but the man in the suit blocked the door. Excuse me, Mr. Yu, did you rescue a girl half a month ago? What do you want? I frowned. Miss, we found him. The man handed me his mobile phone. Mr. Yu, please answer the phone. A familiar yet unfamiliar voice came from the phone. Brother Long, it's me, Meow Meow. Meow Meow, where have you been? I asked anxiously. I've recovered my memory. I'm in Italy now. Wait for me. I'll come back as soon as I finish the matters at hand. Meow Meow's tone was no longer as innocent and naive as before. Her words carried an unquestionable and commanding tone. I was stunned for a moment, but Meow Meow told me to give the phone to the man in front of me. I don't know what she said on the phone, but the man's expression became more respectful. Yes, miss. The man hung up the phone, waved his hand behind him, and a black handbag was handed over. The young lady said to return this money to you. With that, the man unzipped the handbag, and stacks of red bills were particularly dazzling. This is 1 million. Staring dumbfounded at the money in the bag, there was no joy in my heart, only fear. Mr. Yu, you can rest assured that the origin of this money is clean. We can accompany you to the bank to deposit it. I walked into the bank in a daze, was invited into the VIP room in a daze, received a golden sunflower card in a daze, and finally left in a daze under the farewell of the bank manager. Returning to my rented room, I collapsed onto the bed, only to jolt upright again and open my mobile banking app. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. With a smack, I slapped myself hard across the face. Oh, that hurts. I stared blankly at the moths circling the dim yellow light bulb. Just then, my phone rang, a bizarre string of numbers flashing on the screen. +39 34087, unknown. I answer puzzled. On the other end came Meow Meow's cloyingly sweet voice. Brother Long, my business is taken care of. To hear her voice, Meow Meow seemed very happy. Oh, that's good. Perhaps it was because we hadn't seen each other for a long time, or perhaps it was the million that fell from the sky, but I felt much colder towards her. Brother Long, isn't there anything you want to ask me? Meow Meow's voice turned a little disappointed. I fell silent for a few seconds. Thank you for the money. After that, we both lapsed into silence. I plan to go back to my hometown tomorrow. The other end of the line remained silent. You should drink less in the future and be safe. I had wanted to add, see you again if fate allows. But the thought of going home to join the corpse salvaging team made me swallow the words. It's getting late. You should get some rest. Before hanging up, Meow Meow whispered, Brother Long, I miss you. But I chose to ignore it, resolutely ending the call. My family has been in the business of salvaging corpses from the river for generations, a profession disdained by all. So I knew that since I had chosen to go home and salvage corpses, I shouldn't hope for anything else. The next morning, I walked out of the rented apartment, pulling my suitcase. Suddenly, a convertible Bentley blocked my way. Meow Meow, in the driver's seat, took off her sunglasses and looked at me with red eyes. Brother Long. Her sudden appearance made my heart skip a beat. Meow Meow got out of the car, grabbed my suitcase, her eyes welling up with tears. Can you not go? I avoided her gaze, shook my head, and was about to walk forward, but Meow Meow stumbled and fell into my arms. Meow Meow, wake up. I was terrified and quickly drove her to the nearest hospital in the Bentley. The doctor said that Meow Meow fainted due to exhaustion and low blood sugar for not eating. Looking at her pale face as she was on a 4-drip, a sense of reluctance rose in my heart again. Brother Long, she reached out her cold hand and held mine. Can you not go? I turned around and she gripped my hand tighter. I won't go. I'll go buy you something to eat. What do you want? Hearing that I wouldn't leave, Meow Meow was as happy as a child. I want a pizza with pineapple. I shook her hand off, trying to suppress the upward curve of my lips and put on a helpless expression. You childish ghost. Meow Meow tore off a slice of pizza, even picking a few pieces of pineapple from another slice and stuffing them in her mouth with satisfaction. Brother Xiaolong, did you know? I searched all over Naples, Italy, and couldn't find a single pizzeria that had pineapple pizza. She tore off a slice and handed it to me. It's so delicious. Italians really don't know how to appreciate it. Did you go straight to Italy after you disappeared? Meow Meow nodded. Have you remembered what happened the night of the accident? Meow Meow put down the pizza in her hand, her expression turning serious. The person who harmed me that day has been dealt with. Just as she was about to continue, a man in a suit knocked and entered. Miss, a call from the master. She took the phone and rattled off in a foreign tongue. Although I couldn't understand it, I could see that it ended on a sour note. After hanging up, she told the man in the suit that he didn't need to stand guard here. The man seemed reluctant, but eventually did as he was told. Seeing you like this, anyone would think you were with the Italian Mafia? I teased. Her brow suddenly furrowed. You could tell. Tell what? I looked blank. You could tell they are the Mafia? Meow Meow looked at me seriously. I gasped. You got to be kidding me. There are Chinese people in the Mafia? Meow Meow shook her head. I'm of Chinese descent. That day, Meow Meow told me her name was Mira, which is why her Chinese name was Meow Meow. Her father was Chinese and did business in Italy, and her older brother was actually in the Italian Mafia. The Italian restaurant was opened by her brother for his girlfriend, but the woman ended up having an affair with the head chef. It was inconvenient for her brother to come to China, so she came to break up with the woman on his behalf. Unexpectedly, the woman took all her anger out on her, and luckily, I saved her. So you came back this time. After hearing her incredible story, I asked apprehensively, Brother Xiaolong, I came back specifically to find you. I want you to come back to Italy with me. Hearing this, I felt the sharp sting of being a bystander to drama that had suddenly landed on my own head. My family has been practicing a mysterious Eastern profession for generations. I awkwardly forced a smile. I can't go to Italy with you. The Italian Mafia wanted me to join? Is this some plot straight out of a tomato novel? Meow Meow seductively wrapped her arms around my neck and whispered, Ti amo. What? Before I could react, her soft lips were already pressed against mine. From shock to intoxication, I was almost melted by the burning passion of the woman in my arms. Just as I was about to lose myself completely, she suddenly let go of me. Although my father and brother still don't approve, I love you, and no one can tear us apart. She threw herself into my arms again, soft, fervent, intoxicating. My last shred of restraint vanished completely in that VIP hospital room. Watching her sleeping face, a sudden fear crept into my heart. After thinking for a long time, I gently kissed her forehead, picked up my suitcase, and turned to leave. Sitting in the high-speed rail station's waiting hall, I felt like a deflated balloon, my mind filled with nothing but images of Meow Meow. If only my family weren't corpse retrievers, and her family weren't mafia, if we were just ordinary people. How wonderful that would be. The boarding announcement echoed through the station. Dragging my heavy feet toward the ticket gate, I suddenly saw a petite figure appear out of nowhere. If you don't take me with you, I'll float all the way to meet your parents, Meow Meow said. Her face flushed, spreading her arms to block my path. I figured out what that mysterious Eastern profession you mentioned is, she said, hugging me tightly. She took a deep breath and shouted, Little dragon, I love you. Take me with you. The passengers in line burst into cheers. Someone started chanting, Take such a beautiful wife home already. What are you waiting for? Soon, it turned into a roaring chorus. Take her home, take her home. Even the ticket inspector pulled out a QR code and joined in the commotion, saying, Get her a ticket and hurry aboard. On the train, Meow Meow was in awe of the scenery outside the window, while I, with mixed feelings, secretly sent my mom a message, telling her I was bringing a girl home. As we walked out of the high-speed rail station, my mom greeted us enthusiastically with a bouquet of flowers in her hands. Meow Meow, hello. I'm his mother. Welcome. Meow Meow took the flowers, opened her arms, and gave her a big Italian-style hug. Hello, Mom. What is this girl saying? You should call her Auntie. I quickly corrected her. You shut up, my mom slapped me on the back. It's none of your business what Meow Meow wants to call me. Meow Meow let go of my mom and stuck her tongue out at me with a mischievous smile. Let's go, let's go. The car is waiting in the parking lot. Meow Meow held my mom's hand all the way, and my mom, thrilled, asked her all sorts of questions. For a moment, it was as if they were the mother and daughter. Son, you go drive. I'll sit in the back with Meow Meow and chat. My mom tossed me a car key, and the moment I pressed the unlock button, I couldn't believe my eyes. A brand new Maybach S480 flashed its headlights at me. Mom, whose car is this? Ours. This car costs over $1 million. Mom, did you win a lottery? It's a long story. Let's talk in the car. On the way, I tried to ask about the origin of the car countless times, and countless times I was interrupted by my mother. So Meow Meow is Italian. Are you used to being in China? What? You had an accident before and lost your memory. Then Mom has to make you some soup to help you recover. It wasn't until my mother asked about Meow Meow's family situation. My mother passed away a long time ago. My father and brother raised me. They do business in Italy. After hearing Meow Meow's answer, my hands on the steering wheel slowly relaxed. You poor child, you have a mother now. After hearing this, Meow Meow went straight into my mom's arms. Mom, Meow Meow has a mom too. Following my memory, I turned into the alley of my old home, but my mom exclaimed that I had gone the wrong way. Following my mom's directions, we arrived at a residential area that resembled villas. In the 2 years you've been away, the country has been building a beautiful countryside, and every family in the village has moved into a small, Western-style house. Pushing the door open, the decoration, though not magnificent, was clean and comfortable. This was completely different from the old home in my memory. My mom pointed to a distant mountaintop and said, "Our family's mountain was also bought. Grandpa heard you were willing to come back to your hometown to develop your career, so he bought that car for you." She turned and held Meow Meow's hand. "Now it's all good. The car, the house, and the job are all settled. You even brought me back such a beautiful daughter-in-law. Even if I close my eyes now, I can be at ease." Everything was progressing as smoothly as a fairy tale, but I felt a faint sense of unease in my heart. Early the next morning, 4 or 5 business vans blocked the entrance of our house. An old man with a full head of silver hair and wearing sunglasses knocked on our door. "Figlia mia, vieni fuori subito, per favore." My daughter, come out right now. I opened the door, and seeing this scene, I knew I was done for. Meow Meow's family, the Italian Mafia, had come to our door. "Dad, why are you here?" Meow Meow's face was full of disbelief when she saw him. My mom had gone out early to buy groceries. Before she came back, I had to handle this mess so as not to frighten her. "Come back to Italy with me. This place is not suitable for you. And this man is even more out of the question." The old man took off his sunglasses, his face fierce. "I'm not leaving. I want to be with him." Meow Meow held my arm. The burly man behind the old man immediately stepped forward, attempting to take Meow Meow away. Just then, my mom walked in with a vegetable basket. "What are you all doing?" Mom, let me explain. He is Meow Meow's father." Before I could finish, my mom's eyes widened. She pointed her finger at Meow Meow's father's nose. "Male corpse, you are that male corpse." Hearing this, beads of sweat broke out on my forehead. Meow Meow also seemed frightened and immediately stood in front of my mom. "Dad, please don't blame her." The old man pushed Meow Meow away and said excitedly, "It's you." My mother dropped her basket and slapped the old man's arm. "Old you saved you back then, but you left without saying goodbye, you ungrateful thing. Give me back my husband." It turned out that the man my dad had saved from the riverbank then was actually Meow Meow's father. After a round of tearful accusations from both sides, the final result was that Meow Meow and I held a lively and festive Chinese wedding banquet with gongs and drums. Then our whole family flew to Naples and had a Western-style lawn party wedding, following the local customs. Someone asked, "Will you still be salvaging corpses in the future?" I smiled and replied, "Yes."